Question number 116. Which of the given is not a component of assimilatory power for dark reaction? First option ATP, second NADPH, third CO2, fourth both ATP and NADPH. So what is dark reaction? Is a part of photosynthesis where the fixation of CO2 takes place into carbohydrates. So when there is a fixation of CO2, assimilatory power is required. And what is that assimilatory power? That is the ATP and NADPH. So ATP, yes. NADPH, yes. Both ATP and NADPH, yes. CO2, no. It is not a component of assimilatory power. So the correct option for the given question is option number 3. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 117. Choose the odd one with respect to the steps of Calvin cycle. First option carboxylation, second reduction, third regeneration, fourth deamination. Calvin cycle is a cycle through which fixation of CO2 into carbohydrates is explained. Calvin cycle was discovered by Melvin Calvin, hence the name is Calvin cycle. In Calvin cycle, there are 3 major steps called carboxylation, reduction and regeneration of RUBP. Carboxylation is the most crucial step, whereas regeneration is the crucial step. There is no step called deamination in the Calvin cycle. So the correct option for the given question is option number 4. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 118. The C4 pathway of CO2 fixation is an adaptation of plants found mainly in first option xerophatic conditions, second dry tropical regions, third temperate regions, fourth alpine regions. The C4 pathway of CO2 fixation is found in the plants which grow in dry tropical regions. Because these plants have higher temperature tolerance, they can better utilize the water. The C4 plants found in dry tropical regions. So this is the correct one. Alpine and the temperate regions both are the cold regions. So these options are ruled out. C4 plants cannot grow over here, as one of the enzymes of C4 plants called PEP synthetase is cold sensitive. In xerophatic conditions, the CAM plants can grow in xerophatic conditions, but not the C4 plants. So the correct option for the given question is option number 2. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 119. The dual activity of rubisco is found in first option maize, second sorghum, third sugarcane, fourth wheat. The dual activity of rubisco. Rubisco shows dual activity as it can behave as oxygenase as well as carboxylase. So when does it act as oxygenase? When O2 concentration is higher than CO2. And when does it act as carboxylase? When CO2 concentration is higher than O2. So this happens in all C3 plants. But C4 plants do not show the dual activity of the rubisco. They lack photorespiration. So you have to find out the C3 plants in which the dual activity of rubisco can be seen. Maize, sugarcane and sorghum all are C4 plants, hence these options are ruled out. Wheat is a C3 plant where dual activity of rubisco can be seen. So the correct option for the given question is option number 4. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 120. Read the following statements and state them as true or false. A. In both potato and amaranthus, Calvin cycle operates in bundle sheath cells. B. Both rubisco and pepcase catalyze the process of carboxylation. C. Dark reaction is not dependent directly on presence of light. D. Calvin cycle operates in all plants, be they C3, C4 or CAM. So you have to analyze these statements whether they are true or false. See the statement A. In both potato and amaranthus, Calvin cycle operates in bundle sheath cells. Potato is a C3 plant, whereas amaranthus is a C4 plant. In C3 plants, the Calvin cycle takes place in the mesophyll cells, whereas in C4 plants, the Calvin cycle takes place in the bundle sheath cells. So in potato and amaranthus, Calvin cycle or the C3 cycle operates in bundle sheet cells? No. In potato, it operates in mesophyll cells, and in amaranthus, it operates in bundle sheet cells. So this statement is false. B. Both Rubisco and peptase catalyze the process of carboxylation. It is true. How? Rubisco catalyzes the process of carboxylation. How? RuBP combines with CO2 to give you 2 molecules of PGA. This process is catalyzed by Rubisco. And PEP combines with CO2 to gives you a 4-carbon organic acid, which is oxaloacetic acid, and this reaction is catalyzed by peptase. So both Rubisco and peptase catalyzes carboxylation. So this is true. C. Dark reaction is not dependent directly on presence of sunlight. This is also true because dark reaction, the reaction of photosynthesis in which CO2 fixes itself into carbohydrates, is not directly dependent on the presence of light, but it is dependent on the products of light reaction. So this is true. D. Calvin cycle operates in all plants, be they C3, C4 or CAM. This is also true that in all plants Calvin or the C3 cycle takes place. So by analyzing the option, you can say the correct option for the given question is option number 3. Let's move on to the next question.